My name is Daniel Peters. I'm from Chicago. And I have a roots rock group called the West Side Whiners. I wrote this for my band. And doggone it, it's a love story. Twisted, though. This is called Keeping the Family. Feel free to film if you like. No Pornhub. Sweet 16, you're a regular dream. I can see it runs in your family. Your mama's 32 and she's just as hot as you. This kind of thing could really drive me crazy. When I see your little sister, all I wanna do is kiss her. I hope that it's okay with you. Your grandma's 47, she's a real piece of heaven. And baby, this is what I wanna do. I want to marry your whole family, your favorite daddy, grandpa and your little brother too. Want me just to say there if I'm moving to your trailer. I wanna be the captain and the crew. I'll be the man around the house, the community spouse. Still I'm saving all my best for you. Yeah, 'cause loving one is always fun, but loving four is so much more. And baby, we can keep it in the family. Honey, you look like a playboy bunny. Wanna be around you every day. Oh, I'm not complaining, but it's hard behaving when your mama's sunbathing in the nude. Little sister wants to tease me in her little red bikini. It's hard to keep my eyes on you. Well, then grandma comes along in a halter and a thong. Baby, this is what I wanna do. I want to marry your whole family, your favorite dad, grandpa and your little brother too. Won't it just to say there if I'm moving to your trailer. I wanna be the captain and the crew. I'll be the man around the house, the community spouse. Still I'm saving all my best for you. Yeah, 'cause loving one is always fun, but loving four is so much more. And baby, we can keep it in the family. I want to marry your whole family, your favorite daddy, your grandpa and your little brother too. Won't be just to say there if I'm moving to your trailer. Wanna be the captain and the crew. I'll be the man in charge, the tugboat and the barge. Still I'm saving all my best for you. Yeah, loving one is always fun, but loving four is so much more. And baby, we can keep it in the family. Yeah, then after all the loving, introduce me to your cousin. 'Cause baby, ain't she family? Baby, ain't she family? Baby, ain't she family too?
Hey!
There we go.
Who the man?
Look at that.
He is.
There we go.
Salud. Salud y pesetas.
This doesn't qualify as a cocktail, but at least it's a delicious adult beverage.
Well, we like it.
We like to call that a juice box.
Yes.
Box.
Look at Rhodesy. He just got off the...
Rhodesy's in. Look at this.
Nice
Excellent.
to see you guys.
Well, Rhodesy, I know he has a lot of traffic because he texted me. He said, "This is a lot of roads are under construction." I said, "Come in when you come in." Here he is. He's there.
Here I am. Outstanding.
Rhodesy, thank
If I
you,
can
man.
join you guys.
Hey, good to see you guys.
Good to have you, Rhodesy.
I'm telling you, Illinois, the state symbol is a construction barrel for sure.
And why do they do all the roads at the same fucking time? How about we do one road and finish it, and then we move on to the next road?
That's the thing. They never finish any of it.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, they got 83, 176, 22. All these roads are screwed up. How about we just concentrate on one road, finish that, and then move on to the next one?
I don't argue. No arguments.
Because we don't live in a warmer climate.
Yeah, warmer schmormer. They
Okay.
can do it.
Which amigo is this, anyways? First of all, Dan or Daniel? I see
Dan.
Dan, everyone calls me Dan. You can call me Daniel.
No, I thought I saw something on the Shredabilly or whatever, and I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, Dan is the one that everyone calls me. And
Dan
top
Peters
was Dano, but now it's just Dan.
Yeah.
Now, which amigo is this?
Which amigo is this?
Yeah,
main amigo.
I'm asking Bongo, Mike, and Rhodesy. Because
I
there's
think
3
he's the main.
amigos and then 5 amigos. Which one is Dan?
Yeah, it was. So when we started it, my girlfriend Debbie said, this has got to be 4 years ago. She said, I know what you can get me for my birthday this year. I want you, Pino, and Rich to do a show with.
Wait, what?
So, she didn't want to force him. She wanted
That'll
us to
make a
do
great
show.
clip.
She wanted us to do a show
Okay,
for
all
her
right.
birthday.
All right, got it.
So you, Pino, and Rich get together, do an acoustic show at SoHop for my birthday, which was in January. And we did that. That was 3 years ago now. And yeah, I guess 3 years ago. Could be 2.5. But and it was such a great time that we did another 2 or 3 shows as the Three Amigos. And then Halloween, a year and a half ago, Dan Peters' band played with Rich singing, and Pino came and was our guest vocalist. And then I was like, well, shit, this is the Five Amigos. So it became a full band situation, but we still occasionally do acoustic Three Amigos shows.
I just want to say the costumes at that Halloween show were spectacular,
Twing!
by the way.
Oh yeah, that was Rich and I were the
Rich
two.
Sawyer looks
Shining.
great.
The Shining.
What's that?
I said Rich Sawyer. He was meant to wear that outfit.
He was. He absolutely was. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Were you there, Pete?
No, I was watching it.
You've seen pictures.
I never leave my basement, Dan.
Yeah.
I'm here to save live music in my basement, from my basement.
That's amazing. So would you consider that your man cave, or it's just your basement?
It's the studio, man. It's the
man
Hogpod
cave.
studio.
It's the man cave.
The studio. There's whatever needs to happen. The bodies are buried here. Have we had all the Five Amigos on this show, Bongo Mike?
Well, we've had Rich, we've had Pino, and we have not had Janice. We've not had Frank Check.
Okay.
But now we've got Dan. So we've
All
had
right, so 3 out of 5.
So yeah, you need to get the other 2 on as well, because they're a joy.
Yeah, well, I'll reach out to them. They're next on my list.
Good, that's amazing.
You were on our list, and we kept talking about it. Even when Dermont was on the show. He's like, we got to get Dan Peters. Got to get Dan Peters. We finally got him. So welcome to the show, Dan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
And I got to say, I finally got to see the Five Amigos a couple weeks ago because I hadn't seen it. I always saw these clips. Great show.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I saw you hanging out in the back there. Thanks for coming, buddy.
Loved it, man. I love the opener. You did a little Link Ray. Was that Link Ray?
Yep. Oh yeah.
And some tequila. And then you got serious. Then you started pulling out some rock tunes, and then at the intermission, it was like kind of like Pino goes first, and then Dan, Rich goes, and then you go, and then you bring the band back. So it was really well done and great selection of tunes.
It's a lot of fun for us because we're all very close friends, and I love these people like family. So when we get together, it's just a party and a celebration, and and hopefully we're playing some tunes that people like, but it's all stuff that we love, and it's a joy. So it's a special thing because obviously everyone's busy, so we can't do it all the time. But 4 or 5 shows a year is about it.
It's great.
Dan, what's your version of how that started? Because we asked Rich that, we asked Pino that. It'd be kind of interesting to clip all the responses side by side, see if it all matches up. How did the thing start?
Of how the Amigos
Yeah.
thing. Well, that's what I was talking about earlier. I literally my girlfriend asked if the three of us would do a show for her birthday. And so another friend of ours is Lance Lamb, the owner of So Hopped Brewery.
Okay.
So I called Lance up and said, "Hey, Debbie wants to have a special party on her birthday." We did a Sunday afternoon, and I talked to Rich and Pino, and they were like, "Yeah, let's do it. Sounds like a blast." So that was the grand opening of the big back room at So Hopped, and the place was jam packed. It was amazing. We had so much fun. Well, it was a little bit more relaxed and off the cuff, doing an acoustic thing, where it's kind of like almost like a songwriters round, where Rich would play a tune, and and I would kind of jump on, and if one of us didn't know it on guitar, one guy would jump over to the cajon or tambourine or something, and it was just a lot of fun. So yeah, and then two, three, four shows later, it morphed into adding drums and bass, and that was a blast. And there it is, and that's how it continues.
That's a hell of a brand right there. You watch, man. That's going to be the one that's like, oh man, I remember when. So you got that, you got your name band, right? And then,
Right,
then
right.
you have talk to me about Shredability. How do you I can't pronounce it.
Shredabilly, that's correct.
Okay, all right.
That started several years ago in the aughts, if you will, the early 2000s. I had played in a swing band in the late 90s, and it was big 10-piece band, and we toured all over. We toured Europe, uh, and the States, and played around Chicago an awful lot. We had a standing Tuesday night gig at the Green Mill. So that really
Oh,
yeah, it was a blast, man. The late 97 to 2000, we did every Tuesday night at the Green Mill. And then
it,
we had several house gigs throughout the week, and then would tour on the weekends. That was like, when the movie Swingers came out,
yeah.
it was kind of like a popular trend. People would come out in vintage clothing and dance and all that stuff. Well, I was already a fan of Brian Setzer, but because of playing that style, I became an even bigger fan. And so when that whole swing craze died down, I started a small three-piece group called the West Side Winders that was very much influenced by that scene and by Brian Setzer and the whole sort of hot rod rockabilly sound. And so there's the word rockabilly. But I also had a deep upbringing in hard rock and heavy metal. And of course, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, the whole shred guitar thing. So that kind of became my calling card, Shredabilly. I had the whole swinging rockabilly thing with a little bit of hard rock and metal, and it worked. It was actually a pretty cool
Works
way
great.
to approach it.
I saw you guys at the park at Rosemont. You opened, it was on a Friday night in the
Yeah.
summer, and you opened for maybe Jefferson Starship or but that was the first time I'd seen the West
Wow.
Side Winders.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, he was like on a they 'cause they don't normally do like Thursdays, it's just one band, but on
Right.
Fridays they would bring another band. Maybe could have been Yachtly Crew. I'm not even sure. I just remember I was there on a
Yeah,
Friday.
there was
You
a
guys
lot of
opened.
they used to bring us in quite often because we were a three-piece and very easy to set up. So sometimes we would do the Thursday night concert, sometimes a Friday night, and it was always like an hour or an hour and a half set before some headliner,
Yeah,
and such a great venue to play in. So yeah, we did that one several times, and always a lot of fun.
yeah, that was cool.
Green Mill, man. That's a bitchin' place. Shout out
It's
Dave Gemolo, man.
Dave Gemolo. You know Dave?
Fuck yeah, I know Dave. Going back to Deja Vu, I would clean toilets, you name it. I did it. He was linebacker for the Blitz, I think.
Was he really?
Yeah, yeah,
I see. Now, Dave's a big guy, and I had no idea. That
yeah.
certainly makes sense.
Well, that's the kind of guy he is. He's understated, great.
Yes.
and been trying to get him on. Dave, I'm going to get you on, my friend.
Get him on. We want to know about the Chicago Blitz.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should absolutely have Dave on. What a wonderful and interesting guy he is. That's awesome.
Did you guys ever go to the VU, the turtle races, all that stuff on Lincoln
Yeah.
Avenue? You had
Yeah, man. Back in the 90s when I
Yeah.
lived in the city, and it was a whole scene, and I was playing in a variety of bands, but when I had nights off, I would go to the Deja Vu, or I would go to the Elbow Room, and Sunday nights was a big night. There would be like really cool bands playing out. What's that one? There was a couple of really cool funk bands that were out playing at the time that you could see. So yes, I remember that whole scene and loved it. And at this point, it's almost impossible to live in the city anymore because it's gotten so expensive. But back in the day, I loved it.
Well, you could walk around, and it's one thing being in a McHenry. It's another thing being, in Chicago.
It's the
right?
best. I lived in Logan Square, and I loved that neighborhood as well. But yeah, everything was close and awesome.
That neighborhood's changing a lot.
Big time.
It's highly gentrified. My friend had a house there back in like early 90s, and I mean back then it was still a little sketchy, but now you go there now, it's all doctors and lawyers on Logan
Right.
Boulevard, and there's big money over there.
I think it's
It's
called
almost-
Long Man and Eagle.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah, the
place
breakfast
closed.
place.
Did it close? That was a very nice place.
Yeah.
That came in after I had already moved out of the neighborhood, but I'd been there a couple times, and it was delicious, and they a great little
bar.
yeah. It's amazing.
Well, like Lincoln Avenue, I mean, shit. Let's see, the VU, that was a 4 or 5 o'clock bar.
Right.
So if let's see, the VU, you had the store. Store was a good place to go.
Lounge Acts? Wasn't
Lounge
Lounge Acts there?
Acts, Sue
Oh,
Miller,
Lounge
yeah.
Acts, man.
I mean, just bam, bam, bam. Now it's like it's almost like we're Los Angeles almost.
I have one funny story about the Deja Vu, because
Go ahead.
back when I was playing with the Big Swing was the name of the band.
Yeah.
We played a couple shows there, and I remember there was kind of like a little stage like all the way in the back, and I remember one night we took a break, and some drunk girl got up on stage during our break, stumbling around with a martini, and I remember I was like, get the F up. I screamed at her, she was walking right towards my guitar. And she jumped, like it totally shocked her. And then I remember she looked at me and was like, yo, and stumbled off the stage.
Bless her.
Good times.
That must have been Turtle Race night.
What was it? Was Thursday the turtle?
Thursday's Turtle, yeah.
Thursdays, man.
Oh, man.
Lots of fun.
Look at us reminiscing.
So I got a question for you, Dan. I saw a picture on Facebook today with Brian May. Were you sitting in and playing with Brian May? What was going on?
So what happened was, I lived in New York City from 2012 to 2014. I was there for 2 years. I was filling in for my buddy Joel in a show called Rock of Ages, which was a awesome show. I've done about 5 or 6 productions of it, but being able to play that on Broadway was outstanding. And so while I was there, I was trying to take advantage of all the things that were happening in town. And, I got a call from a musician friend of mine saying, hey, Dan, they're putting a touring band together for We Will Rock You, which is, it's sort of a post-apocalyptic musical. And the story is ridiculously lame, but the soundtrack is Queen. So they have a band that's kind of behind the curtain, but you can see through the curtain, and they're playing Queen music the whole show, and the story is set to Queen. The music saves the show. The show is really stupid. So I went down to the Power Station, which wasn't called the Power Station anymore. I forget what it is now, but I went in, and I knew the music director who was putting it all together, and he said, hey man, don't get freaked out, but Brian May is going to be here, and Roger Taylor as well.
Cool.
So everyone was kind of like, oh, everyone got excited, So they showed up. They started having auditions. It was there were a lot of guys there, and at the end of the day, they sent everybody home except for 2 drummers, 2 bassists, 2 guitarists, 2 keyboardists, and it was down to the last 2 guys for the spot in each case. And Brian and Roger were in the studio watching this whole thing go down. And it was, I think the last tune we played was 7 Seas of Rye. And I was reading this chart, and there's sort of this overlapping guitar part that goes back and forth. And the other guy was reading it perfectly. I screwed it up 3 times in a row. They're like, okay, now I'll have you guys change parts. I just kept messing it up. It was so frustrating. And when Brian came out, walked right up to me, shook my hand and said, I was really rooting for you, Dan. He's like, I really wanted you. I love your energy. And I wanted you. He's like, but as you know, you couldn't get that last tune. He goes, I don't know what happened, but you know, we all have that. He could not have been nicer. And yeah, he was super cool. He sent me a message later that day saying it was great to meet me and great to hear me play. And it was a thrill to meet that guy. So
that's pretty cool. Story. That's rock royalty right there. You know?
Yeah, oh, big time. Yeah. And an amazing human being. The guy's got a doctorate in astrophysics, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Astrogenica.
Oh, that's great.
No, a cool dude, right? I mean,
oh, so cool. And Roger Taylor was cool too, but he was a little more standoffish. Brian May could not have been a nicer guy, you know, and just made it easy to talk to.
Yeah.
It's always the drummers.
You know, do drummers go to like dirty look class?
Well, it depends on the drummer. Does Chris have a dirty look? You don't have a dirty look, do you, Chris?
No.
Just at the bass player?
I'm too busy laughing. I'm usually laughing. If something goes wrong, I just start laughing.
There you go.
Okay.
They're either the dirty look guy or they're always late. Oh, no.
I'm neither. I am neither. I'm always early.
Yeah, I got to always be there early because I got a back line or I got a lot of shit to unload. Yeah. So it's like I'm never late. I'm always the first one and usually the last one.
You guys are a dream. I was just making a joke.
I'm early because I'm old. It takes me every bit of 2 hours to get my shit out of my car and up on the stage and tuned and everything else.
That's amazing. And then every bass player I've ever met is like, you know, packs up, sets up in 5 minutes, packs up in 5 minutes. I'm still talking to people in the bar and the bass player's gone.
You know? Gone. Yeah.
Well, he did get demoted from guitar.
Right.
So Bongo, I don't know if you want to go here yet, but this is top of mind. I think it's pretty interesting because, you know, we're the Chicago local music scene podcast, right? You know,
right.
Look us up, Google. You find us. Okay, let's talk about the scene. Dan, you got cred, you got skins, man. You've been in the hood. You know what the scene was back in the day. Now we got a scene today, and times have changed. How do we change with the times here to keep it all going? Because people are all pointing back to like I remember, like us we're doing right now. 90s, that was great, and well, it's 2026. How do we keep things energized here, evolve with what's going on here, man?
I'll tell you, Pete, that's a good question and also a tough question because, you know, we guys like us, we're of a certain age. We grew up loving rock, you know, I'm assuming most of us did, you know, and all kinds of it. And I was into Van Halen and Led Zeppelin and AC/DC, and then later on Stevie Ray Vaughan turned me on to blues, and then, you know, and there's always a journey of discovery with music, and I love all styles, but rock was my first love, and I feel like right around 2010, rock just kind of died, you know, and it's still around. People are still playing it, but it's not the force that it once was, and you know, maybe it'll come back someday. But the reality is right now, there's corporate pop music, there's
Yeah.
corporate country, and there's rap, which is, my son is 20 years old. He loves
Yeah.
rap music, and he's actually a budding rapper
Well, as he
himself.
should. I liked Run DMC, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. Well, you're right, and that's like 80s, that's 80s rap.
yeah.
I like some of that vintage rap as well, but the current crop of rap is very different. It can be kind of aggressive, but it's also very electronic, heavy use of auto tune
Yeah.
and elaborate loops, and for people our age, that's kind of a different thing to get into. But that kind of has the energy that rock once did, where things were cutting edge and maybe a little bit.
Well, well, we were angry, Dan. We were grunge, angry.
Yeah,
I want distortion.
yeah,
Now you got helicopter parents. The kids have a good upbringing, unlike
right,
us. And, everything's cool and they want the slow beat per minute stuff and,
right.
chill. It's like 1972, man. You know, er-
It's I love those days. I love the fact that I was able to grow up during that time and have
yeah,
access to all that great music. But man, it's just different out there now. And so when I play shows locally, I see a lot of people that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s,
yeah.
and they're out reliving the glory years because there's, it's become all about tribute bands, and or cover bands playing a certain era, focusing on a specific era. Let's do 80s hair metal. Let's do, 60s British Invasion, what have you. But
Yeah.
it's all old. There's, it's reliving old times, and it's
Well,
a
let's
it's
talk about the scene, Dan, because
yeah,
the scene was we're looking for, and the
right,
internet wasn't around. You need a big place. You've got a place that holds 1,000, 1,500 people, and you got to act in there, whatever it is. It could be rock, it could be whatever. Okay, that's where the chicks are at, and they're getting into
right,
it. So, you want to get hooked up. It's either that or you go dance. I don't know about you. I couldn't dance. So I'm like, all right, I'll check out the fucking music.
yeah,
So you have that. And then you have owners losing their ass. Fuck Polestar. Okay, great. It worked great in DC. The act comes here and it stiffs. I got no money for a deposit to put on another act. So
right,
now what's the lower risk thing? Okay, come on in, a local act. Well, how do I market it? Well, they do this, they do that. Oh, they do Pearl Jam. Okay, great.
right,
Understood. All right, you're on. And then we all got lazy. And then let's be honest now, when you go on stage, you're performing, right? And
yeah,
when you go on stage, you got to look fucking good, man. You can't have a fucking not throwing shade. I'm just saying this is show business,
yeah.
okay? You
Wow,
can't have
you're
your
aggressive today, Pete.
well,
I resent that remark.
I
I got
resent
more.
the tour.
You should have seen me at 5:30. You made me move the show to 6:30, so I'm angry, man. I'm
Kiss my
angry.
ass.
But I mean, there's got to be some type of showmanship because you got somebody young coming in. When I say young, 20, 30, and you look up on stage, and unlike the good-looking Dan here or Pino, but you get slobs like me up there, and like, what is this? Okay, it's rock music, but I don't want to look at this. How do we bridge this thing? Because people say, well, I don't want to wear that on stage. I don't want to
Yeah.
do this. I don't want to.
That's a that's a hard question, Pete. I honestly I wonder about it myself, and I'm not sure what we can do as a community. I mean, I can observe what I see and see
Yeah.
that if you have some sort of popularity in the area and people like you, they will show up. But it's increasingly an older crowd, and these people love an early show. They want to come see a good rock band, relive their glory years, and then be home at 10 o'clock to watch Matlock.
Yeah.
And
Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Bongo, Bongo, talk to Dan. Dan, I don't know if you saw Jeff Kleinschmidt's post
Yeah,
Sunday.
oh yes, I did
he
actually.
had a post basically talking about exactly what we're talking about, the scene
Yes,
and how it's changed and everyone chimed in and Dan, as you alluded to, I think a lot of people said, yeah, earlier shows. And maybe it's our age, but maybe it's just getting out early and being able to see something early from the performer standpoint. I don't know how you feel, but
Right.
I remember those nights of coming home at 2:33 in the morning. That sucks. I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of like to get home a little earlier when I'm done.
Well, yeah, and again, it's our age and our age group,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, but
it covers a lot of ground here. But like I said, my son is going to shows all the
yeah.
time. He's like, Dad, I'm driving to a show right now, and it's 10 o'clock, and
He's
I'm like,
talking about
yeah,
he's doing a rave
I
at 2 in the
remember
morning.
that, and not only that, I remember going and you'd be like finishing at 2 in the morning, and
Yeah.
my hair would reek like cigarettes because everyone was smoking inside the bar. Uh, so there's some good changes, but
Well,
it's
I mean,
tough,
perfect example though is like, let's just use the Vixen for instance. There'll
right?
be a killer band in there on a Friday night, and when you like come walking out, there's a line of 20 somethings that are just dying to get in. They don't want to come in and see the band.
They're
They
coming
don't
for the
want to be part
DJ.
of that. They're waiting for that DJ to come
Yeah,
out, and then everything
absolutely.
changes. So to
Yeah,
your question earlier about bridging that gap, you don't. You have to actually probably look at it as through the DJ mixing
yeah,
those
man.
classic tunes with the new tunes and
Right.
kind of blending them together. That's the
Yeah.
bridge.
I no, and it's like you said, you can't bridge that gap. It's a totally different scene that
Yeah.
young people are, well, young people. I sound so old, but
You're
but
old, Dan.
they're into, and it's completely separate from what we like and what we know. And there was a time I talked with a friend of mine about, I'm like, yeah, man, I should hook up with a DJ and just bring a guitar and play lead to a bunch of dance
Yeah.
beats
Yeah.
and kind of be like, be a duo, let the DJ kind of run the show. And then I'm kind of like the colorful lead guitar guy
Yeah.
Beastie Boys.
side. So, maybe there's a future in something like that. I have no idea.
You know, it's funny you say that, Dan, because we talked about it. We had on this young kid, Andra's son, Matt, who's a DJ, EDM type of guy,
Yeah.
and we were talking about it. And one of the things I did, this was a few years ago at Pumpkin Fest, but there was a guy who was going to be between bands, a DJ, and somehow, some way, they hooked it up where I was going to sit in and play djembe along with whatever he was putting on.
Oh,
And it
yeah.
really worked well,
That's,
So I
yeah.
mean, he would put something on, and I just started wailing
See?
on this djembe, and all of a sudden there's a crowd of young people that are really digging it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing it again with that guy at the 420 Fest at
Oh,
Teddy O'Brien's. So we were like the entertainment between the reggae band. I was sitting in with this reggae band, and then I played with DJ Hedge Money. Yeah, shout out to DJ Hedge Money.
that's
So, but
great, man.
it works. And
It
actually,
does
what you're
work.
saying about a guitar playing along with that is pretty cool.
Right. And it would be even better if I took some time to learn how to actually be a DJ myself, and then go out there and then also grab the guitar,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but these guys, it's a one person operation, and then they travel all over the world. Some of them they're making
Big
bank
arenas. Yeah.
just spinning tunes and
Big
whatever.
light show, all of it.
Yeah.
So
Whatever techno wizardry they can add to it, but I don't
And
know.
it's amazing too, because I mean I've been going to music festivals for years. So I would go to a lot of the jam band festivals, and and some of that has shifted. I mean, we go to these things, and all of a sudden you're like, who the hell is Grizz and who's Rez, and all of
Right.
a sudden there's 35,000 people at that, but there's a lot less when we're watching Dumpsta Funk or an
Right.
actual band. And they're all, and now those festivals are starting to change where they're becoming more EDM and less band focused.
It's tough. It's tough to compete with that,
Yeah.
especially if you don't appreciate, what it is. It's a completely different animal. I had a long time ago, I had run into some guy who was a DJ when I was hanging out when I lived in the city. So this is like in the 90s, and the guy was telling me he's a musician, and I said, "Oh, what do you play?" He said, "Oh, I'm a DJ." And I said, "You are not a musician then." What? How am I not a musician? He got pretty angry with me, and I said, can you play me some music if you don't have electricity? And he didn't have an answer for that. So
Well, hold on now, partner.
Uh-oh.
This is getting into the AI segment of the show where
Uh-oh.
certain
Uh-oh.
people turn their noses up, and I use
Yeah.
the same analogy that if the Moog synthesizer was good enough for Stevie Wonder to make a blind man be magnificent, okay, why can't we use AI now to take this same four chords and make something that everybody wants to hear? Why is that like
Because you're taking away the human element, and I don't like that. I don't want anything synthetic. It always gets something wrong. I mean, it'll get better. It'll keep getting better, but I don't appreciate it. I don't want music that isn't
help me
made by
understand
human
that though,
beings.
Dan? What I don't get is
Yeah,
then why are you using electric? Do you use electric guitar?
I do.
Why?
Why? Because it's a tool. It sounds great, but I can sit with an acoustic guitar and do everything I can do on an electric
That's what I'm
guitar.
saying. Why don't you just use an acoustic guitar, not the electric?
Because I like both. I do both.
That's
I
that's
like
kind
and
of,
do both. But here's the thing. If someone took electricity away from me, I can still play music. I could still sit down and entertain a crowd. It wouldn't have as wide of a volume to it to get, but I could sit in a room and play guitar and sing, and I can play music. If you can't play music without electricity, you are not a musician.
I'm going to take that clip. I'm going to put it to the side here, Dan, because I like you.
Good.
I like you, Dan. You're old school. We got to have a couple beers with Jim Malone. We'll talk about turtle races. But this is the next level of where music is going because you're opening the laptop and you're hitting the button on the EDM. Is that not music?
I it's not, I'm not saying that it's not music. There's a
Let's
difference
define it because
between
whatever it is, people are
there's a
showing up for
difference
that.
between, like, synthetic music is still music. But if you take away
Sounds creative.
electricity, can we have it? Can we still have synthetic music without electricity? And that, I mean, maybe I'm oversimplifying
Yeah.
by stating it that way. And so I'm not saying that something isn't music, but I'm also saying I don't want to hear it. I don't appreciate it. Can I listen to EDM? Sure. And oftentimes there's some creativity going into that, right? And a lot of creativity when a DJ puts together something technologically. I'm not saying it's not creative. So that's that. There's that element.
Okay.
But with AI, we're completely taking away the human element, you know? Or you got Joe Schmo sitting at home going, I wrote a lyric and I want to turn it into a song. And then they get, one of these AI apps. I forget what the
Suno?
yeah. And they go, look at this. I wrote a song. And they did not write a song. They wrote an idea. Maybe they said, I want to write a country song about driving on I-55 and I drive a red Corvette or whatever. They offer some ideas and make it sound like Merle Haggard singing. And the next thing you know, they got a song. But there was no creativity that went into that whatsoever other than an idea.
An idea. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what do the record labels do? I mean, take the Monkees, okay? Give me this guy, give me that guy, give me that guy, put it together. Neil Diamond, write some songs.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, it's to a certain degree what Pete's saying. It's no different than Neil Diamond, who wrote three-quarters of the Monkees tunes
Right.
that Monkees took credit for.
Yeah, but at the very least, there was some great music that came out of that because there were humans involved.
Well, I mean, Neil Diamond was fantastic.
There was the Wrecking Crew, playing all these tunes. There was great songwriters like Neil Diamond and Boyce and Hart and several others that were involved. And then they had their actors that came in for a TV show, but there was creativity involved and it was human
The
creativity.
human element, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody actually wrote the songs and they didn't just put it into a computer and it spit it out. I mean, they wrote them. I mean,
But
Exactly.
but you have to know, you have to make something that is sweet to the ear, dulce, however the hell you say that, Rhodesy. You have to you you have to make it sweet sounding. Okay, whatever it is, okay, whether you hire, look, if what you say, Dan, is true, then you brought up the Wrecking Crew. Why don't the real musicians play on their records, right? That's taking the human element out of it, isn't it?
Say so. I don't know what you're getting at,
Well,
Pete.
what
You're
I'm
trying
saying,
to stir up some shit.
yeah, I'm bored.
That's all right.
That's
I'm
very
trying.
good, Dan.
No, but I'm just saying we're drawing the line on electricity, yet we have all these other things that are fake, starting with the synthesizer, with which its very word is fake music in of itself, and people using it. And I use
Well,
Stevie
it's not
Wonder.
fake music. It's manufactured sounds. The playing is still real. The playing is by a real musician. You know, the sounds are manufactured through the synthesizer, and there's a lot to be said for that. They're using it as a tool.
Cool.
There's human creativity, human musicianship, and they're using technology as a tool. I don't have a problem with that. That's totally different from AI, where, you know, it's the tool itself is what's creating instead of the human using the tool. You know, so I love electric guitar, and I'll continue to play electric guitar through an amplifier because it sounds kick-ass. But I can do everything that I did without electricity.
Okay.
Does that
Fair.
make
Yeah.
sense?
It does.
Fair.
And
All right.
speaking of, don't you have a bunch of shows coming up where you just do acoustic, right? Where you go to like Moretti's and it's
Yeah.
just you. I mean, you obviously have a small PA that you set up, but
Yes.
that's a
Yeah.
big part of what you do. I mean, that I notice your schedule is always very full, but it's not
It,
always a full band each time.
right. Yes. Yeah. And that's by design because in the past I've been called by some local bands and some other bands that I know that wanted me to be part of something that would have taken up all my time. And I love these players, and you know, it could have been a wedding band, could have been a tribute band. There's been, you know, plenty of conversations, but if it takes up all my time, I usually end up not being interested because I like having a variety in my life. I like to be able to go out and play acoustic shows, and the you know the biggest thing about that is that it fills up my schedule, as you said. It keeps me busy even when the band shows aren't coming in as much as I'd like or whatever. And the summertime is always great with lots of shows with CTA and my band and various other projects. The acoustic shows keep me busy. So then I have all these other band projects. I have the opportunity to go on tour every once in a while, and in particular with Luminar, which is the Christmas rock band that I play with every December. And then I have one foot in the world of musical theater, which I
Wow.
truly love. And I like to be able to do one or two shows every year. Last year, I did a musical about the Kinks. And then I was at a show, kind of an 80s musical last summer at the Marriott Lincolnshire. So there's always some involvement in something like that. And if I was stuck with one wedding band or one tribute band playing every weekend, I wouldn't be able to do that variety. So, the great thing about getting back to the acoustic gigs, those are great placeholders to keep me busy. But if something comes in that's a tour date or a theater show or whatever, I can often very easily reschedule those acoustic shows to go and do the cool tour or whatever.
Do you have a set list when you go and do that? I mean, or when you just show up, you got a book of songs, and you just go as I don't picture you as having a set list for those
Yeah,
solo
I do.
shows.
I kind of have, instead of a set list, I have a song list that I keep in front of me. I have it, wrapped in a little plastic sheet thing or whatever, and I put it down with a paperweight so that oftentimes I'll just kind of wing it, but sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to play, and I'll look down, I'll see my list on the floor and think, oh, Whip and Post, I haven't played that one yet, So that's what my list is for, to remind me if I start to forget, what songs to play.
So if somebody comes up and they wanna request a song, you just basically if you know it, you're going to do it, right? I
No, it
mean,
comes with an Andy Jackson, right, Dan?
They do, yes. It's always nice to have money. The thing that I will and often joke about during the shows is I will make an announcement, ladies and gentlemen, don't be bashful, please come up and make a request. And I'll always say, you have a 50-50 chance of me knowing it. and then they know. Sometimes they come up, I say, I don't know that song. And I've already pre-warned them. Or I'll do a gibberish version. I'll kind of pick up the chords and mumble it like Eddie Vedder or something.
All right, it's time for the important questions, Bongo.
Is it time for the important questions?
We
want to know more. We want to know.
Yeah.
We want to know, Dan. I want to know. I got a question. This is before the important questions.
All right.
I want to know. So you were doing Rock of Ages on Broadway, right?
Yes.
And how many years did you do that for?
For 2 years. I went out early in 2012, and then I came back home in the summer of 2014. And the reason I came back home was because I got hired to play with Dee Snider for the Rock and Roll Christmas Tale, and I knew that was going to start rehearsals in October of that year. So I came back to do that show, and that was it. I was out in New York for about 2 years. I was married at the time. My son was little, but so I would come, I was subletting a place on the Upper West Side, and I would fly home, whenever I had time to do so. But I was really trying to make some connections in New York City while I was there.
Sure.
You got any cool Dee Snider stories?
Well, first of all, he's a great guy. He's a lovely dude. He's a committed family man, highly intelligent,
Yeah,
and very funny, and just a riot. I still talk to him this day. He's a wonderful human being. So,
yeah.
but the best story I have was when I did the audition for the Dee Snider show. I had gotten a call by a local casting agent. And she said, hey, we have this show. They're looking for rock type musicians to be in the cast. And she's like, I thought of you right away. I thought you'd be perfect for this. So I went and you're doing well in an audition if you keep getting called back. So I went on 3 callbacks. And at the final callback, Dee Snider was there. And so I remember I walked in and I was a little nervous. So I had brought a flask of whiskey with me. So I'm like, I'm going to do a little shot of whiskey just to calm the nerves. And then I went to the bathroom, and I probably have whiskey on my breath. And who walks into the stall or the urinal right next to me, but none other than Dee Snider. And I'm like sitting here going, oh, I've got whiskey breath. And he goes, don't I know you from somewhere? Don't I know you? And I said, well, yeah, Dee, I'm like, you came and saw Rock of Ages when I was filling in. So the guy that was the guitarist for Rock of Ages, a guy named Joel Hoekstra, who's pretty well-known guitar player.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's plays with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. He's played with Whitesnake and Night Ranger.
He's awesome.
Lovely guy.
He was doing an acoustic show. We were playing at the Arcada, and he was upstairs doing an acoustic show. So he was in the downstairs green room. Joe Hoekstra's room was across, how there's like
That's awesome.
4 rooms down there.
Yeah,
nice guy. We said hi to him and talked to him.
He's a lovely guy. He was my roommate in music school. So yeah, he and I were friends for a long time, and that's kind of how I got involved with Rock of Ages. So nice. At any rate, Dee Snider came to a show when I was filling in for Joel, and while I was packing up and putting the guitars away, I suddenly heard, so that is your real hair. And I turned around, and it was Dee Snider. He was saying, I kept telling my wife, that guy's got the best wig in the whole show. And so that was how we met. I reminded him of that at the Rock and Roll Christmas Tale audition. And I'm pretty sure at that point I knew I had the gig. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh yeah, I remember. And he had a big smile on his face. So
you're hired.
Yeah.
Dan, did you ever have an opportunity, or do you know anyone that's done a cruise gig?
A cruise gig. Especially when I was in New York, I met a lot of actor singers. And, a lot of these people, some of them, they come straight out of theater school and want to get into it. But some of them
Berkeley.
some of them are rock musicians, and they suddenly find that they have a taste for musical theater, or that they're good at that. And so a lot of these young actor singers that I met, a lot of them had done cruise ship gigs. And while I was, and they all said the same thing. They were like, it's a great gig for a young up and coming actor singer. And it depends on the cruise line you get on. Sometimes you get treated really well. Sometimes you have to bunk with somebody, and then when you're not playing, they want you to clean up, go mop the floor or whatever. So I've heard some nasty things. I've also heard some really great situations.
Okay.
So I had an opportunity to do one once when I was still subbing on Broadway in Rock of Ages. They had a cruise ship. They would go out. I think it was Norwegian Cruise Lines was going out for 6 months at a time, and they had Rock of Ages on the boat. And we're hiring people who had all done the show before from New York, or there was a version in Toronto as well. So the guy that was playing guitar was supposed to get fired because he got caught sneaking off the boat with some passenger, and the dude was Canadian and didn't have his visa, and there was all kinds of nasty stuff. And when things like that happen, they have what's called captain's court, and you literally go before the captain, who's like the judge, and you get your wrist slapped and sent on your way. And so, in full anticipation of this guy getting fired, I got hired to take over for him to do the last 6 weeks of this 6-month, job. And when I got there, the captain didn't fire him.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're like, "Oh, do you want to get on the cruise anyway?" And I remember being there thinking to myself, there's no way I want to get on this boat. And I'm actually glad they didn't fire this guy
For 6 weeks.
So anyway.
Could have had the Hunter virus.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah. It was the panty virus.
Crowbar virus. So the other thing I want to ask you, Dan, is like, how do we know what's good anymore? In the old days, because you brought up Hoekstra, and this made me think of Dave Hoekstra, Greg Cott, and everybody that, you go to the back page of the Tribune or the pullout section. You're like, all right, there's a review of the show, and like, where do you go get that now?
It's tough, man. And it all kind of depends on your mentality and your point of view. Because I think back to when I was in my 20s and 30s, and I would have a lot of days where I would just go to the record store, Tower Records, or the several others.
Max Tracks.
And I would hang out and I'd look at albums and CDs, and then sometimes I remember one time I was in a record store, and like Jeff Buckley was brand new.
I love Jeff Buckley.
And I walked up to the guy at the front and said, "What is this?" And he said, "Oh, there's a new artist named Jeff Buckley." I bought the album that day just because I was in the store. I heard it playing, and there were many moments like that back in the day. But I'm, at my advanced age, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm listening to, if I'm listening to something new, it's because I'm learning it for a show. Otherwise, I'm kind of like just digging deep and looking at old jazz artists, which I've loved for a very long time. I go, "Oh, here's an album by John Coltrane I never owned," or classical music or rock bands that, like, playing the Kinks show last year really got me on a Kinks kick, a band that I always liked but took for granted. And so suddenly it's like, well, the Kinks have a whole catalog of music I've never heard before. And I went down that wormhole. So it's like all the old stuff keeps me occupied. And I think a lot of people of a certain age tend to fall into that trap and not look at anything that's new. So I couldn't tell you. I know what my son likes. He plays stuff for me. But
has it turned from Greg Cott to a TikTok influencer? Like, that's how you know something is good, right?
that's become what it's all about nowadays. Influencers and people doing, musicians that are making a name for themselves are the ones that are doing videos on TikTok and, some crazy, crazy technical capabilities. A guy like Matteo Mancuso, his whole career, and he's out touring now, is because he started posting videos on TikTok and YouTube, Instagram, what have you, and
Yeah.
started getting followers. It's a totally different playing field.
Different channels to find
Right.
music and to promote yourself.
Yeah, it's a huge field, and a lot of muck that you have to wade through. And because there's still good people out there, but how do we find it? I don't know.
Dan,
I think one of the ways you can do it too, and we've talked about this a couple times on the shows, is sometimes if you go to like, whether it's Pandora or Spotify, and like let's say you put in the Kinks, right? And it starts playing Kinks music, and then it finds that it uses that same algorithm and it finds similar stuff. And I've been finding a lot of new artists by doing that, just by putting it in. I gotta write it down. I'm like, oh, who's this band? Write it down, and then I go perusing that and looking into that, and then I find other stuff, and it kind of gets you down that rabbit hole. That's how I'm finding, and it's not on the radio because the
That's
radio is
valid.
either retreads or it's new
Right.
we're
music
the
that I don't
radio
listen
now,
to.
dude.
Yeah, I listen to the radio when I drive
No,
into work.
this is the radio.
This isn't the radio.
This
Right.
is the radio. Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
that's it. Yeah, we grew up in a different area where we'd
Yeah.
get in our car and put
Yeah.
on the loop
Uh-huh.
or WXRT,
Yeah.
and if you put them on now, they're
Yeah.
playing the same stuff they were playing in the 80s.
Yeah.
So
Norm Weiner, he put his letters on the show. That meant extra revenue tonight. It fucking killed. Now I'm crying in my beer here, Dan. Let's sell some tickets. Where are you
I need
playing
my
at
beer.
next? Or my weed. Let's sell you some tickets. Give me your URLs. Give me some show dates, and then Bongo Mike's going to ask you some very, very important questions.
So folks can find me pretty easily on social media. I have a couple different pages on Facebook. For those of you that are on Facebook, I have my Daniel Peters personal page. My
I knew there was a
Peter-
Daniel. See,
Yes, that's my given name. Daniel Peters, that's my personal page. Dan Peters is my music page. There's a Dan Peters band page, and there's also a Five Amigos band page that's all on Facebook. On Instagram, I am the Shredabilly on Instagram. And I have a Shredabilly YouTube channel where you can find me. And then finally, my website is shredabilly.com. And so if you check me out online, I try.
we'll
I
put
do
the
my
show
best.
listings right here. What is
Yeah.
your walk-up song? We start this show. What am I playing at the beginning of the show? What's your favorite song? That I can find on YouTube?
Oh, so a song that will set the tone for this particular podcast.
Hong Kong.
Your favorite, your walk-up. I'm going to tone it on. Bam! Holy shit, that was a great song. I want to watch more of this.
Yeah, wow, that's meaning
I'm going to edit.
like one of my songs.
Yeah. What do you
Never.
want me to start the show with? A song that you do that I can find on YouTube.
Then I think you should look up the West Side Winders. Keep It in the Family. Yeah, that's
Keep It in the Family.
a very fun song. It really encapsulates everything that I did with the West Side Winders, and the lyrics are very funny. People respond to it, so I think that's a good one.
My heart is full, Dan. Bongo Mike.
Done and done. All right. Ready for the easy questions?
What do you mean easy?
Yes.
They're easy.
These are heavily
We
scripted
want to
questions.
we want to know more about Dan as a guy, not
Oh,
not
God.
his superstardom that he's doing all these great shows and playing on Broadway and hanging out in the restroom with Dee Snider.
He's a dude.
Hi.
So the first question I have for you, Dan, I think I might know the answer. I don't know if this was on Bus Stop Blues or not. Our friends over at Bus Stop Blues, great guys.
Right.
But I don't know if this was on there or not. But what was your first concert? The first concert you went, you bought a ticket to? Where was it? Who was it? When was it?
So I was a freshman in high school, And one of my friends that I made at high school had a brother that was 2 years older. And he said, hey, my brother is getting tickets to go see REO Speedwagon at the Chicago Amphitheater.
What?
And tickets are $19.
Wow.
And he's like, do you want to go? And I was like, wow, I've never seen a concert before. And I had to ask my parents. And, and it was like, who's going? Who's going to drive? And, so my friend Mike, his brother Mark drove, and he brought a friend. Mike brought me. And Rick Derringer was the opening act.
Nice.
Rock and roll hoochie coos, baby.
Yeah, and it was awesome, and it was a great concert, and I think it was when REO just came out with that big, it was like their first album that really kind of put them over the top, that had all the big hits on it. I forget, High Infidelity or something like that. Yeah, named after a local band.
You can't.
Yes. Yeah, that's and $19. Wow, I'm surprised that the ticket was that much, but I guess that because I'm thinking like the first concert I saw was like $12.50,
Yeah. It depended on where you went, because I remember going to Alpine Valley for, that price.
Yeah.
For some reason, the amphitheater, it might have been because of parking. I don't know. But.
It included parking. Parking's now if you go to the World, it used to be, well, I don't even know if it's called the World anymore, but there was a big controversy, and now they're charging for parking. Instead of just putting it on the ticket so everyone can just pull into the stupid fucking parking lot, instead of having to stop and give the guy a $20 bill, now you got to pay when you go in. So, and then of course your beer now is going to be $30 or something, it's big. Yeah. That's why you gotta bring party favors, right, Pete? You gotta bring the gummies and the mushrooms. If you don't have
a great
those,
attitude and a great attitude.
I want to go to a concert with Pete.
Let's go, Dan. Me and you, baby.
Don't we all?
Hey, Pete, tell them what you brought to the Bus Stop Blues.
Oh God,
love.
Here we go again.
You're gonna need a bigger boat. All right.
So the first concert, that's good stuff. Worst concert you ever saw? You walked out. You said that was the worst. You literally walked out of it. Have you ever done it? Who was it? When was it?
I've never walked out of a concert. But this is a tough one, and I hate to say this because I actually like this artist.
It's okay.
But at the time, and I think I was in college, and I had some friends that were really into this. He's a legendary singer who I'll say in a second here. And it was at Poplar Creek Music Theater. And I said, all right, sure, I'll go. It was the most boring concert I ever went to. And it wasn't that it was bad playing. It was just boring. And it was Bob Seger.
Man.
Yeah. And I was bored to tears. I was just like, I lost my interest halfway through the show and couldn't wait to leave.
Wow.
I was there with friends, and
Interesting. Yeah. Sometimes those bands are like that though. Like, like I saw Bob Seger twice, and it was a little kind of boring, I love him though. I love the music, but
his music in the 80s, that breakdown, shakedown stuff.
Right.
Whatever.
That was a good tune. That was a good tune.
Yeah, I liked all those songs,
but
but live, it was like there was no fire. It was just, they were just playing the songs, going through the motions. There was no performance aspect to it. It was just dudes standing on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that. I get that. Sometimes I even felt like that at times when I saw the Eagles. I've seen the Eagles maybe like 5 times. It was kind of the same thing. Like if they didn't have visuals behind them, they were a little boring.
Wow.
And I love them. But I think that's why it goes so well at the Sphere, because you got this ginormous sphere with all these lights and but I mean, sometimes they just don't move you, I mean, it's okay. There's no right or wrong answer. And I know you like Bob Seger, so it's not like you didn't like him. It just didn't move you.
Exactly. That's a good question. I like that.
Yeah, I'm off the cuff,
I haven't seen a good question yet. Take it to the whole, Bongo Mike.
Take it to the limit. Last question. This is always interesting. Pete wants to know, not me.
Pete always wants to know.
And I think Chris wants to know too. Chris is interested.
Chris is dying to know.
Chris is dying to know.
9 inches.
He walked away. All right, last question.
Wait, do you have pants on?
He's walked. He's out.
I'm gonna edit that
What
out.
happened? Where'd he go?
He just doesn't want to hear it.
What
I
the
think he
question?
sold up his Depends.
He went to get a
Does he
beer.
have one in his hand? No.
Maybe.
Nothing.
What's the question, Mike?
Oh yeah, the question. The question is, Pop-Tarts, love them or hate them?
Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I loved Pop-Tarts, but
Look at what Rhodesy has.
What's that?
Look at what Rhodesy's got.
This segment sponsored by
Pop-Tarts.
Brown
What?
sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts.
Are you sponsored by Pop-Tarts?
I
Yeah.
wish.
We are.
yes,
Put
yes,
butter
we
on
are,
Pop-Tart?
Dan.
So we want to know if Dan Peters loves them or hates them.
I loved them when I was a kid. I probably haven't had a Pop-Tart since I was in grade school. And I wouldn't eat them now because I don't know what they're made of.
Yeah.
They're made by DuPont.
Yeah.
It's an after gig snack, man. That's
Petroleum.
why I have them.
Petroleum. It's
Yeah.
okay. Hey. Dan Peters, man, thanks for playing ball with us tonight on the Hogpod, Chicago local music scene podcast, baby. Chris Rhodes. You got any shows coming up real quick? You got some?
Yeah, Bongo Mike and I, we're going to sit in with my friends in Cougar at the Orr May 22nd.
May 22nd. We'll get that one out.
And I got to tell you, that's an exciting set list. Rhodesy sent me the updated set list. There's a whole lot of stuff in there that is not Mellencamp.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
I like that.
Which is
I
interesting.
want
It's
to
like
plug a show coming up real fast. I've got several, but the Dan Peters Band will be at Hopped on Saturday, May 23rd.
oh, nice.
That's right
Nice.
here.
And that band rips it. I mean, Frank and Janice and
Yeah.
now is there any?
It's incredible.
Yeah, great rhythm
There-
section.
yeah.
Is there anybody with you? Is it just you guys? Is Pino sitting in? I mean,
This is going to be a little bit different because my bandmates aren't always available. So I have Reed Pauly and Paul Botta from CTA
oh yeah,
are my rhythm section for that show. And I have a good buddy named Drew Delnecke who has a band called Feel Good. Great singer, guitar player. So he'll be our singer that night. I'll sing a little bit too. And then Reed and Paul on bass.
fantastic.
So
Yeah,
that's good.
Paul's a great drummer.
He is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really good drummer. Yeah, Paul Botta. So that's the 23rd, Saturday, the 23rd.
At Hopped in Huntley.
Oh, hop.
In
All
Huntley,
right.
baby.
Wait, Mike, you're playing the 23rd.
I am. I get the Mosquitoes at Sundance, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., followed by Pino Farina. So it's a good double
Nice.
bill there.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
There's always competing stuff. You know how that goes. you
I
know?
hope, I hope everybody caught all that.
Yeah, they got it all. It's all right here.
When do I get to meet Pete in person?
Yeah, you know what? I get a lot of that lately. I got to once I figure out how to be better at editing these shows, I will be out there with you at 1 PM at the Broken Whore, wearing some bad Mexican trousers, and I'll be the 6th amigo, Root Note Pete.
I love it. I can't wait, my friend.
Hey, man, thanks for playing with us, man.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan. Good to see you.
Boys,
brother.
great show. I think we broke the internet. Watch out. I think we surpassed 40 views. Bye.